Hi everyone! In this video, I'm excited to introduce a new Blender add-on I made, Reproject Key. It implements a ZBrush style project feature. So in Sculpt Mode you can transfer all the HighPoly details from one object onto an existing object with a single click. The add-on also supports editing shape keys after the projection. Now let's go through how to use this add-on and some important tips to keep in mind. First, let's install the add-on. Press F4, go to Preferences, choose Add-ons, expand the arrow, click Install from Disk, and select Reproject Key to install. Press N to open the sidebar, choose Reproject Key. Reproject Key is mainly split into two parts. The upper red highlighted area handles projection settings, and the lower part controls operations on the projected shape key layers. I've prepared two models. A HighPoly ICO sphere, its topology is messy, and a regular sphere that will receive the projection. First, wrap the target, receiver, model around the HighPoly ICO sphere. Enter Sculpt Mode, click the picker in the add-on, and select the HighPoly you want as the target. Use the mask brush to paint the area you want to project. With other parameters left at their defaults, click Create Projection to transfer all the details from the HighPoly to the masked faces on the lower model. The add-on will create a shape key layer and a face group for the projected faces, so you can tweak them later. Click Apply All to bake all projected details into the model. If you're not satisfied with a specific projection, click the X to remove that projection's shape key layer, or click Delete All to clear everything. Next, let's look at the projection settings. Project Unmasked is off by default. When enabled, it projects the unmasked areas, while the masked areas stay in their original state. Delete all shape keys. Wheel turn off Project Unmasked. Below is the Soft Weights toggle. When enabled, it lets you adjust the fall-off range of the projection area. 0 means no fall-off. The higher the value, the wider the falloff. The maximum value for soft weights is 1. Next is Projection Mode. The default is Project, and there are other modes as well. I recommend Project and Nearest Surface Point. In Project Mode, you'll find X/Y/Z toggles below. For example, if I enable only the X-axis and click Create Projection, the projection will occur only along the X-axis. Note that areas outside the HighPoly's bounds won't be projected. If no axis is enabled, the projection follows the surface normal direction. Choose axis based on your needs. Now let's look at positive versus negative directions. For example, I first paint a mask on the opposite side. I enable positive, choose the X-axis, and click Create Projection. The projection follows the gizmo's X-axis positive direction. Delete the shape key. If we enable only negative and click Create Projection, the projection follows the gizmo's X-axis negative direction. Next, let's look at the shape key area below. Use the mask brush and click Create Projection to create a new projected shape key layer. Then keep painting. You can keep creating projected shape key layers. The eye icon toggles the projection visibility for the current shape key layer. The button next to the eye selects the current shape key layer. For example, click the first button below to create a mask from the current shape keys range, and the button beside it creates a face group from that range. Next, use the eyedropper to sample the HighPoly, mask the area you want to project, and click Create Projection to create a new projected shape key layer. Clear the mask. If you want to remove specific projected faces, switch to the mask brush, paint over the parts you want to remove on the selected shape key layer, and click the minus button to remove those faces from the current shape key layer. The slider here controls projection intensity. 0 is the original model state, and 1 is the default projection intensity. Paint a new mask again, then click the plus button to add the masked area to the current projected shape key layer. You can use plus and minus to quickly add or remove projected faces. Here I created several projected shape key layers. Select the shape key layer and add a face group. Click the select button and choose one shape key layer. You can sculpt directly on the current layer and use the slider to control the intensity, achieving a sculpt layer-alike effect. But there's one caveat. Shape key layers do not support using Tripo or remesh at the same time. Select a head region shape key layer and click mirror to mirror that layer across the x-axis. Here's a small tip. If I want a symmetric projection, I can first create a mask on one side shape key, click mirror to send it to the other side, then create a mask on the other side and click the plus button. This gives you a mirrored projection. You can also keep painting masks with the brush to add projection to this shape key layer. A second tip, when the ranges of two projected shape key layers overlap, like the purple and green areas in the video, and I want to put the overlap into the green shape key layer, I can mask the overlapping area, select the green range shape key layer and click plus. Then switch to the purple range shape key layer and click minus. This fixes the double projection artifact caused by the overlap. My recommendation here is, for shape key layers to work properly, it's best to use them without a multi-resolution modifier. Next, let's see how it behaves when the model has a multi-resolution modifier. Here I have a shoe silhouette model and a HighPoly model. Click the eyedropper and pick the HighPoly shoe model. When the receiving model has multi-resolution and the sculpt level is greater than 0, clicking Create Projection will fully transfer the HighPoly details to the existing model. There are two issues to watch out for. First, the receiver must have multi-resolution with sculpt level 0 to transfer all HighPoly detail. Second, when the receiver has multi-resolution with sculpt level 0, you cannot create shape keys for the projected range. When the model has multi-resolution, you can also box select a mask or paint only the area where you want to project the underlying HighPoly details, then click Create Projection to project. We can keep painting the mask area we want to project, then click Create Projection to run the projection. When setting up the projection, I recommend making the receiver model wrap around the HighPoly as much as possible to avoid exploding faces issues. One more note. If I add projected shape key layers first and then add a multi-resolution modifier to the model, the add-on can't create new projected shape key layers anymore, because multi-resolution can't be used together with shape keys. Click Delete All to remove all shape keys. If you only click the X button, it won't fully remove every shape key. The button stays highlighted because Blender creates a basis key before adding any new shape key. I recommend clicking Delete All to clear all shape keys. Okay, that's the complete feature set of the add-on. I'll keep improving it going forward. You can download the add-on from the link below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell so you won't miss future content. See you next time. Bye.